Hello everyone, my name is Aisling Clancy. I'm the Education Manager of the Design and Crafts Council Ireland, and I'm really excited to welcome you all to the 2020 Future Makers Awards and Supports event. Although this year has been a very challenging one, and there's been lots of changes, I'm really happy to see that some things remain the same, such as the level of talent and innovation amongst the upcoming Future Makers this year. I'm delighted to introduce our MC for the 11th Future Makers Awards and Support event, Toby Scott. Toby Scott is a catalyst in the creative industries and an innovator within the commercial and public sectors. He has been a director of the UK Design Council, a director of Arts Council England, as well as head of creative industries for the UK government. He established the Irish Centre for Design Innovation and was Senior Design Strategist for the Design for Growth pilot scheme, delivered by Dublin City Local Enterprise Offices. He's also been a board member of the UK Crafts Council, and as a developer, Toby is co-founder and learning director of Fram Labs and No Innovation. Toby is also a valued member of our board, and we're delighted to have Toby with us today to host this event.
Brilliant. Aisling, thank you so much, and welcome everybody. A fantastic turnout. We've almost hit the magical three figures. We've got 99 people here today. First of all, what does the Future Makers program do? Well, critically, it supports the next generation of makers, designers, and craftspeople at an absolutely crucial stage in the development of their career path. We divide it into two categories: emerging makers and students and recent graduates. These awards support and reward vision, innovation, excellence, investing in a new generation of talent in the craft and design sector. So for us, Future Makers is all about creating a platform to showcase talent, as well as providing much needed financial support. The program this year has awarded upcoming designers and makers who've gone on to have incredibly successful careers in the past in the design and the craft sector. I'm delighted to introduce one such designer, Una Burke. She won the overall Emerging Makers Future Makers in 2010, a decade ago, Una. Gosh. And then she went on to win the RDS National Craft Competition. Una set up her own brand named after herself in 2010, and she makes both seasonal fashionable connections and sculptural art pieces using her traditional leather working techniques. They're very complex construction. Una's work has been exhibited in over 20 countries throughout the world. Her clients and customers include the New York designer Philip Lim, Seoul's Simone's Handbag Museum, the National Museum of Ireland, and of course Nick Knight's Creative Laboratory Show Studio. You probably ought to know, if you don't know already, that Una's leather accessories have developed a very strong celebrity following all over the world, including Rihanna, Lady Gaga, Madonna, Heidi Klum, the Lebanese singer and actress Haifa Webe, Taiwanese pop star Elva, and fashion icon Daphne Guinness. Sadly, I have not managed to find one for myself. Her collections constantly appearing in publications such as Vogue and ID, Collezione and Numero, and they're stocked in stores worldwide, including Selfridges. Una, thank you very much for sharing your story today, and perhaps you might be able to share your insights for this year's Future Makers finalists. Una, you may want to unmute yourself. I can see that classic challenge where you say, oh, it all worked perfectly in rehearsal, and now you can't find the button that does it. So you may want to go down to the bottom left-hand corner of your Zoom screen and click on the unmute.
Toby, if you want me to go on and speak, we could do Una after me, if that helped.
Well, why don't we do that? Because just whilst Una sorts that out, may I introduce Rosemary steam. Rosemary, just in case anybody doesn't know, is the still, I'd like to say, new Chief Executive of the Design and Crafts Council. She has been a wonderful appointment, and I speak here as a board member because she brings with her extraordinary both private sector experience and the knowledge and appreciation of both craft and design, which I think is going to be an enormous asset to the organisation as we go forward. Rosemary, you've got a few words for the awardees.
Well, look, Toby, thank you for such a kind introduction. I can see Una's working away there, so hopefully she'll be sorted soon. So look, I'm delighted to speak to you all today at the 11th Future Maker Awards event. In February, we launched the 2020 Future Maker Award and Supports Programme, and we had no idea what was coming around the corner. It's been such a challenging year for everyone, especially final year students, recent graduates and emerging makers at this crucial stage in the year. But you guys really did not let us down. In fact, you excelled at what was an extremely challenging time. And we're really heartened by the volume of Future Maker applications which were received this year and the high standard of the work showcased throughout these applications. It's really an amazing achievement by all of those who entered in such, in the middle of a pandemic to produce the quality of the work that we saw. So this year, the work really highlights the innovation and resilience of these young makers, creating exquisite pieces and eloquently articulating their plans for the future and how they will succeed. The successful applicants here today were chosen for demonstrating a broad range of skills, such as design, interpretation and innovation, the use of traditional and contemporary techniques, and skillful execution. This year's Future Makers should be really proud of themselves and their ingenuity. You are a signal of hope for the future, creating your own path during these challenging times. And the Design and Crafts Council is delighted to be able to reward such innovation and persistence as part of the Future Maker Awards and Sports Programme 2020. As Future Makers is the qualifying competition, today's winners will also have the opportunity to apply for the annual RDS Craft Awards, which provide 5 awards of 10,000 euros each. These 5 significant awards provide further development opportunities for those pursuing a professional career in the sector. These awards facilitate further education and training, research and development, mentoring, the purchase of equipment, studio improvements, websites and residence. And we're very thankful to the RDS for their continuing to work with us and creating further opportunities to support makers at this crucial time in this year and also at this really challenging time in the pandemic. So we're invested as an organisation in a vibrant design and craft sector, and Future Makers is one of many of DCCI's initiatives this year supporting the next generation of talent. We look forward to working with today's winners. Hopefully you'll all become members and work with us as an organisation going forward. And we want to really support you as the next generation of talent. And we look forward to working with you as you progress through their career and engage in all of our programs and supports that we can bring. And I hope when the vaccine comes that we will see you all on the ground at some stage with our team in Kilkenny. And I believe that winning these awards and supports is just the start of what can be an amazing career. And I'm really looking forward to hearing from Una about how it's benefited her. And well done to all the winners. You really are the future. Thanks, Toby.
Rosemary, fantastic. And thank you very much for a stirring introduction. Una, I think your sound has now sorted. I'd love to reintroduce you, but I won't go through the whole thing other than for everybody to know you are a stellar designer. Can you share a few insights for the awardees this year?
Yes, sorry about that. Yeah, so it was invaluable, basically, the input of the support of the DCCI to me at such an early stage in my career, because I'll talk you through it here. Basically, I left my master's at London College of Fashion in 2009. I specialised in leatherworking, so I could get support from the Design and Crafts Council, or the Crafts Council as it was at that time. I graduated into recession, and you guys are now either like in the early days of your business, the emerging makers, or the rest of you who are graduates, and you're graduating into a pandemic, which sounds like a horrible, shocking and overwhelming experience. But I know from experience personally, the fact that it was a recession kind of was a great time to flourish for me, because I had nothing to lose, really. I left university with 30,000 euro of debt. The only job that I could get at that time was as a retail assistant in a clothes shop, which I didn't enjoy very much. But anyway, I did it just to pay my bills. I earned $6.50 an hour before tax, and I barely had enough to pay my rent. So I decided to move. I ate a lot of toasted cheese, and when I had to start paying off my college loans, it was just impossible for me to manage. So I moved to another part of London, where I missed all of my friends. I worked all the hours sent to me, but I had far lower overheads here, and I was gaining appreciation for my work in the fashion, art and craft worlds. I reduced my hours then in the shop and committed more time to my personal work, and then took a risk and left my shop job, the safety of that, entirely just to set up my own business. I lived frugally and applied for every single award that I could find on the internet. And one of these was the Future Maker Awards at the DCCI. Winning the Student Award in 2009, and then the Emerging Maker Award in 2010, and then the RDS Awards. This was an enormous help to me, both financially and credentially. The funds allowed me to buy materials, new leathers and hardware to actually make another collection, which didn't really seem feasible at all on my $6.50 an hour wage. So I made this collection, then I took it to fashion weeks in Paris and London. And there I took my first orders, and based on that I could set up my own brand and become more independent. So just getting that little leg up really made such a massive difference to me. There was a phrase from Bob Dylan, and I kind of didn't even realize that it was a Bob Dylan phrase, but it used to pop into my head all the time. And it's, if you've got nothing, you've got nothing to lose. And that's kind of how things are at the minute with the pandemic. It all seems so overwhelming, I guess is the word I keep using, but it means that everything's possible. It's from the song like a Rolling Stone. And so I guess we all have to be Rolling Stones in the creative world, because there are always people out there who can produce a version of what we do for a lower price in a factory somewhere. But you know what? There's nothing more unique than the handmade product, because we put a little bit of our souls into each and every piece that we make. We literally give hours of our lives into making them. And if that's not a luxury, then I don't know what is. And sorry, I'm reading this here. If that's not a luxury, then I don't know what is. And there are people out there who realize this, and they know that they have hours and minutes of our lives before their eyes when they hold a handcrafted product in their hands. And these people are the best customers to have. They have integrity, just like you and I. Like attracts like. And this is why myself and my partner Emmett just love the people that buy our products. We love them so much. We have a wonderful personal relationship with so many of these people. And it's not really about quantity, it's about quality in both people and products. So it's a great time to take a chance on yourselves. In fact, you're better off than those with high profile jobs, and the only expectations that you have on you are those that you create for yourselves. So aim high, and if you fall a bit short of that, then you still end up somewhere pretty decent. I was always kind of naive in the way that I believed I could do anything, and I still do believe it. It's ridiculous, but it's a great attitude to have, because, you know, like if you just land a little bit lower than that, you're still going to be really in a good position. So believe in yourselves, and if you do, then you can convince others to believe in you too, and to support you along the way. You're already here with the support of the DCCI behind you, and that's an incredible kudos, and will stand to you along the way. Honestly, one good thing leads to another. You've just got to keep your eyes peeled for the opportunities, and don't be afraid to ask. Sorry, I need a drink of water. Yeah, don't be afraid to ask for advice or help or for opportunities. Put yourself and your work out there. Apply for everything that you can in every niche that you could fit your work into without underselling yourselves, of course. even though I was really struggling for money at the start, I still turned down some sales routes for my products because I had a different direction for my brand in mind. And I felt that this other route would damage the perception of my product in the market that I wanted to be in. So it's important to remember the bigger picture, your ultimate goal. Even when you have your back to the wall, it's important to stay true to your brand ethos, especially now that you've gotten this far, because every one of us is the face of our brand. We have the benefit of being creative thinkers, and creativity is what's called for when times are tough. Use your skills and diversify, get your fingers into lots of pies. This is how I survived in really tough times. Get your finger in lots of pies so that if one plan doesn't work out, then another one might. Then you can edit down a bit later when you've got a bit more security. You can decide, okay, I'm not going to do so much of this, I'm going to do more of this, because it's putting more food on my table. And also, you know, you have to feed your soul and your stomach, and it's not a sin to actually take the paying job, because if you are struggling so much and worrying so much about how you're going to pay your bills, then it stifles your creativity anyway. So you have to get the balance right. So basically that theory about getting your fingers in loads of pies and all that, it worked for me. It might not work for everybody, but consider it an option anyway. Keep in mind that this also involves a hell of a lot of hard work, so be prepared to do that, but that's just the world we live in. So I want to congratulate you all on your incredible achievement. The work is incredible, amazing. I've been looking through it all week, and it's just astounding, as Rosemary said there, that you pulled it out of the bag in such tough times. When I'm sure spirits were low, but again, you guys had the world to aim for, because times are so tough as well. It's like two sides of the same coin. I want to congratulate you on getting to this point. I know that you will all have toiled very hard for this moment, and to have your work appreciated like this is the greatest of honors. I wish you the best of luck in your future careers. Whatever path you choose to take, don't forget to mind yourselves too. It's okay to take a rest sometimes, and mind your mental health and moisturize your hands, because we creatives aren't very good for doing that. So that's me. Best of luck.
Very good.
Brilliant. Bravo. Bravo. Absolutely fantastic, Una. I'm going to take moisturizing to heart on that. Really lovely. Listen, Una's words of absolute inspiration, but based in deep truth and personal experience. We want to also share just a few other stories of people who are recent awardees as well. And we've compiled a short video for that.
I mean, it was so exciting. I can't believe it.
It was a real game changer.
I was incredibly lucky.
My name is Bonnie Kavanagh. I'm a fine artist and I specialise in ceramics.
My name's Hugo Byrne. I make kitchen knives here in my studio in Limerick City.
My name is Aoife Snowden and I'm a glass blower.
I'm living my dream. And if I would have thought this time 2 years ago, I'm doing what I'm doing, I never would have. And it all started with the award. So I applied to Guligo, the International Ceramic Research Centre in Denmark. That opened my eyes to so much stuff.
Future Maker support really paid for the bulk of that new machine, which was kind of elemental in upgrading my work. I was lucky enough to be asked to be in an exhibition since. It really does open quite a lot of doors and get your name out there.
Winning that award was using both a combination of my design approach to glass and my artistic approach to glass. It allowed me to meet with galleries. Without Future Makers, I wouldn't have been able to come back to Ireland and blow glass in Ireland, which was just a great opportunity for me.
gave me that push to do more and to stretch myself.
I would strongly urge anybody to enter.
I am very happy to say that it was definitely a huge step in my career, and it was definitely worth my while applying for Future Makers all of those years.
Really lovely. So, as you can see, a wonderful context. Not only Una here sharing her intimate thoughts, but also these lovely previous awardees acknowledging the step up that it created. So, in the Immortal Words, without further ado, let's get on and start hearing about the awards themselves. What I'm going to do is announce I'm going to announce the support winners in each category. We'll then hear from Nigel, who was chair of judges, Nigel Cheney, and once we've heard from Nigel, I'll then award the Future Makers Award winners, the top level thing. One thing before we jump into that, which is, you'll have noticed some lovely people are putting notes in the chat. Please do use that. It's so inspiring if you see something which you think is particularly beautiful, if you see something which gives you an idea, stick that note in the chat. Fine words are wonderful, compliments, wonderful. But if you can add more to that, how much nicer would that be? If you can suggest a connection, perhaps even a client, perhaps a future inspiration, something which you might say, oh, you really ought to try connecting with this person. We've got so much wealth of experience in the room. Perhaps if you see something as you're hearing from about each of the awardees, you might want to put something in the chat so that we can build a sort of a shared and collective wisdom here. So let's kick off with the Emerging Makers category for exhibition supports. We're delighted to award Laura Quinn. So Laura submitted an exciting, a really ambitious proposal that will make audiences see glass in a completely new way. Her works exhibited in the juried selection for the prestigious Collect exhibition, and we're delighted to have supported her work. As well as Laura, Olwen Burke. Now, the judges were so impressed with Olwen's exquisite work and felt that Olwen's work demonstrated how Irish design can compete on an international stage, given the right support. Well done to both Laura and Olwen. Now, in the Emerging Makers category, and this is for residencies and training supports. Firstly, congratulations to Christina Finley. Christina secured a place on a postgraduate course in menswear. The judges felt Christina's work showed such flair, such creativity, that she's going to flourish within this very tightly defined masculine area of study. Lydia Clayton. Now, Lydia's jewellery shows skill and quality. Her proposal was for digital marketing. It was really well researched, thoroughly costed, and it allowed the judges to envisage just what this award would do for her. And thirdly in this category, Rebecca Marsden. Rebecca, her work, well, it showcases some truly innovative approaches to 3D knitwear. I think they're stunning. Her proposal demonstrated a clear need for software and training, and the judges felt that Rebecca knows her target market, she knows how to stand out in a highly competitive field, and it's truly a breath of fresh air. Our third category in Emerging Makers is for studio supports. And here we have a lot of awardees. Kathy Burke. So Kathy has achieved a highly distinctive approach to her ceramic sculptures. I think you'll agree. The judges noted how reaffirming it is to see how her practice has grown in the last few years with the assistance of previous Future Makers Award from student to becoming an emerging maker now. Eglar Banity. Now, Eglar, and this is much more important than any award, is about to have a baby. So I just want to send her a big group hug because I'm sure she's in her last week before she's due. So good luck, Egla. In her application, she showcased precision and skill in her intricate jewelry. She submitted a hugely impressive proposal to redefine materials, and she seems to re-articulate traditional precious metals. The costs, however, of working with precious metals is a stumbling block, and this award will go some way to allow her to fulfill that ambition. Fiona Daly. Fiona produces really interesting and skilled woven fabrics. They grow from a practice embedded in sustainability and the circular economy, and this award will allow her to expand production into a much larger loom, making handcrafted Irish supply chain much more viable. Genevieve Howard. Now, Genevieve works across innovative 3D printing and traditional goldsmithing skills. Her jewelry pieces, I think, are utterly beautiful and showcase such skill. Genevieve is going to invest in the precious raw materials and that will bring her knowledge and experience together in one place. Paul O'Brien. Now, the judges felt that Paul's clean simplicity, they allowed the materials to speak and echo the high level of craftsmanship that is the hallmark of his brand. And this award will allow him to step forward with digital technology as another creative element of his toolkit. Sam Gleason. Sam's work shows such skill and craftsmanship. His ambition is to pass knife-making skills on to another generation, and this award will allow him to invest in the creation of new objects that become part of his crowdfunding activities. Finally, in this category, Stephanie Sloan. So Stephanie is a printmaker. She produces, as you can see, these incredible, exquisite, simple, beautiful images. This award will assist in the purchase of a key piece of equipment to allow for her professional production. The next category is for student and recent graduate supports. We've got a number of categories here. So in the student and recent graduates category for material supports, getting stuff, if you like, first award's going to Antonio Julio Lopez Castro. Antonio just makes enchanting small-scale ceramics. The judges felt his work has an obvious appeal for the international collectors market, and he submitted a really clear proposal to expand his existing kiln to get him to the next stage of his career. We hope that he'll be entering the emerging maker category soon in the future. Eve Doyle. Eve produces more than interesting, challenging jewelry pieces that seem to explore the kinetic nature of line and different elements thrown together. This award will support Eve to elevate her work by utilizing more and different precious metals. Gabrielle Malone. Now, Gabrielle's garments focus on family heritage, and you can see how closely they're linked to fishing, for example. Her investment in product development means she's now at a point to move to final fabrics, and this award will help establish her brand. James MacDonald. Now, the judges felt that James's furniture expresses a desire to grow in collaboration with other materials and processes. This award will allow him to challenge his aesthetic and realize new designs across different disciplines. Katie Spears. Katie's intricate, enchanting glass creations seem to be inspired by nature, and they really wowed the judges. They also found Katie's proposal refreshing and were impressed to see how invested she is in Irish wildlife and how her work speaks to so many people. Megan Maguire. Megan, so colourful, so dynamic, her knitwear. The judges felt her ambition to become independent after college with her own equipment, and as well as an ambition for postgraduate study, should be commended and supported. Sophie Rouillet. Sophie produced some stunning sculptural knitwear. Her ambition to use this award to purchase essential equipment and expand her supplies of luxury material to create much more diversity in her portfolio. And again, we're delighted to support Sophie in this endeavour. The next category in the Student and Recent Graduates Awards is for professional development supports. Professional development. And the support winners here are Kira Allen. Kira creates, I want to say interesting, but they're more than interesting. Colourful, textured, gender-neutral garments. This award will allow for training, specifically to enable her to create a sound business structure to underpin her future plans. Jennifer Alford. Now, Jennifer, she produces these wonderful, subtle, tactile tableware. This award will support professional photography, and that's going to allow Jennifer to capture and showcase the beauty of her work. Jenny Mulligan. Jenny makes truly beautiful forms in glass. Her proposal expressed frustration at her own attempts to capture the beauty of this material. So she's going to be working with a photographer, which will allow her to acquire images that will propel her to the next stage of her career. Marin O'Riordan. Here is a talented fashion designer. The judges were impressed by her passion and the determination expressed in her proposal. Maureen understands the importance of her portfolio to pursue her dreams and will use this award to collaborate with professionals, importantly to capture her collection through her unique vision and style. Final category here in the Student and Recent Graduates is for travel and training supports. So our support winners here, Mairead Busman. Well, the judges felt that Mairead had achieved amazing success with her commemorative pieces. And it's wonderful to see how this success has stoked her ambition. She submitted a really clear proposal of how she can extend her design scope by undertaking a breadth of new processes and ways of working. Megan Shelley. Megan, well, she uses digital technology to embroider and produce these extraordinary, quirky embellishments that seem to elevate the mundane to become almost like little jewels, if you like. The judges appreciated her ambition to expand these modern skills with much more traditional approaches, and this will place her more confidently into the couture market. And finally, in this category, Zara McLaughlin. Zara produces these extraordinary sculptural ceramics. They enjoy the technique she's mastered over the last few years, and her proposal articulated a clear need and plan for training to further her ambitions. So congratulations to all of you in all of those categories. It's just a wonderful achievement. And I don't know if other people here who are listening in and just looking at some of the extraordinary capabilities on the show would just join me in actually being slightly awed by all of the winners this year. I'm going to introduce Nigel and then get on to the final major awards. I'd like to say a particular thank you to all of the judges before we do this. They assessed the work and they've spent many hours poring over the applications. Our first round judges were Frances MacDonald. Frances, that is, she provides consultancy support in contemporary craft and design. Also Paula McCoy, She was homeware buyer for Arnott's for the past 20 years and has been a member of the DCCI mentoring panel for Design Ireland and also for the Fuse clinics. Our second round judges, Rachel Dixon, she's Dean of the Academic Programmes at Central St Martin's, and Rachel, she's exhibited widely in the UK, Ireland, North America. She's Senior Fellow for the Higher Education Academy and a member of the Irish Ceramics in Education and the Design and Crafts Council of Ireland. Nigel Cheney, who's the Chair of Judges, is a textile artist and designer. He's held positions as lecturer in embroidered textiles at the NCAD from 1993 until his retirement from full-time lecturing in 2017, although Nigel, I don't think you look quite old enough to retire yet. His academic roles have embraced all aspects of design, as he's been external examiner for several institutions, and in 2013 he co-authored Textile Surface Manipulations with Dr. Helen McAllister for Bloomsbury. His work's been featured in several publications, is exhibited widely in Ireland and international, and his personal work is in a number of private collections. Nigel, I wonder if you'd like to say just a few words on behalf of the judges about this year's awardees.
Of course. Thank you for that introduction. I have a little speech to read. Firstly, it's very surreal to be sat here in my fluffy slippers and be at an award ceremony with no clapping, because the work is stunning and I'd love to be applauding everything as we would normally do. But anyway, so on behalf of all the judges, I'd like to thank everyone who entered and gave us such a hard job to do. It was a privilege to get to see so much wonderful work that would fare well on any international stage. This year is obviously different for everyone. Judging the work you make by digital images alone is not the same as engaging with the physical objects. Making is a visceral experience, and our appreciation is obviously metered by the way you present the work to us and how you use your application to frame how some cold, hard cash can help in your career. As always, Future Makers Awards highlights the superb level of craft, heritage and contemporary design. Graduates from across the island of Ireland are tremendous ambassadors for the breadth of the robust courses available to nurture this talent. The heritage of craftsmanship skills is alive and well, and it's to be hoped that this experience will continue to be available for future students across a wide range of disciplines and materials. Irish students who have also gone on to study abroad demonstrate the true global appeal of Irish craft and their place within it. As makers, we all know the blood, sweat, tears, and mugs of tea required to produce the incredible work you make, but also the admin and paperwork that is such an enormous percentage of any business. Sometimes our customers need a little help being made aware of just what we go through to realize these objects. Successful design relies upon business and marketing skills to understand the function of the work you choose to make within society and how to present this within a complete package. This year threw up a particular challenge for applicants. This year's graduates were in direct competition to those who studied last year. COVID has had an incredible impact on the work that could be produced in their final year. The uncertainty of college life, limitations on studio facilities and access to equipment has meant it was simply not possible to proceed in the way they had envisaged at the beginning of their major projects. It is worth applauding their tremendous stamina and self-belief in what they were able to produce under these circumstances. As the retail sector is completely reinventing itself, it is vital that these future makers who are at the forefront of international design focus their creativity on a compelling new vision for the sector. Now more than ever is the time to be bold, brave, and dream big. The Future Makers Award has sustainability at its heart, not only in the efficacy of sourcing and producing our work, but also a sustainable career that can grow and adapt throughout our lifetimes. Now more than ever, the world relies on our future makers to provide honest and compelling solutions. The decision regarding the overall winners was unanimous. The work spoke to us with its quality that was both instantly attractive and completely memorable. One of the most important aspects of the awards is the recognition by the DCCI and your own community, and I hope you can all use this for leverage, whether for a little sprinkling of self-belief, to help you enjoy the continued support from your loved ones or from people with money. These awards do carry weight and don't be afraid to use that. Thank you to the entire Future Makers team, and in particular Amanda and Aisling, without whose sterling efforts in handling and disseminating the entries and processing these at all the stages, no one would be getting any awards. Thank you to those who support our Future Makers, your friends, your family, your loved ones, your allies, and sympathetic bank managers. Thank you to all the educators and those who have helped them acquire these skills and encourage them to grow their talent. And finally, congratulations from all the judges to all the winners. You are amazing.
Absolutely fantastic. Nigel, thank you very much indeed. Can I just also highlight the tone that Nigel brought, but also Una brought, of it's a human endeavor, this, and these extraordinary times mean that the resilience we require is really immense. And so just those little things which allow us to support ourselves, be good to ourselves, and draw strength from all that we're seeing today is fabulous. So thank you, Nigel, and thank you all the judges. So it's time. So we may not have applause, but we do have fireworks. We've got fireworks. Whoa! For the official announcement of the overall winners of the 2020 Future Makers Awards. We have 2 awardees in the Emerging Maker category. The winner is Kathleen Walsh. Bravo, Kathleen. She produces vessels that seem to just marry tradition and innovation. The judges felt that it takes real sensitivity to be able to combine the beautiful properties of the turned natural wooden vessels with this sort of sharp modernist resin top, with this sort of shock of translucent color. They considered the works mesmerizing and truly deserving of this prestigious award in a very competitive category. Huge congratulations, Kathleen. Now, for the student or the recent category, the winner is Tom Langton. Bravo, Tom. Tom's work, well, it manifests this correlation between thorough academic research and it's coupled with this immaculate creativity. His work shows a confidence, an individual design, handwriting, if you like, that just feels incredibly refreshing. And the judges felt that, and I quote them directly here, this is a talent that demands to be supported. So huge congratulations to Tom and to Kathleen. Massive rounds of virtual applause to you both. I do not want to keep anybody any longer here, but I will just pass back now to Rosemary to wrap up and say some final words. Rosemary, back to you.
So look, Toby, just a massive congratulations to the winners. Just such amazing, amazing work. So on behalf of DCCI, I'd like to thank all of our guests here today for joining us in celebrating our annual Future Maker Award and supports. It's even more important than ever this year that we show up and support upcoming talent, and we really appreciate you joining us and making it such a special event. I want to thank our in-house team of Aisling, Caroline and Amanda for all their hard work in keeping going through this year, which has been really challenging, but they did an amazing job. I'd also like to thank the DCCI board members, many of whom are in virtual attendance, along with Toby, for their continued support. It's heartening to see the high level of support here for new and emerging makers. I'd especially like to thank Andrew Bradley for acting as our Master of Ceremonies for the awards last year and for, assisting us in taking over as interim chair this year. And in particular to Toby for all his work this year in chairing the awards and continuing the work that Andrew did last year. So thank you so much, Toby, for all your work with the team on getting this organised and getting us into a good place today. So thank you. I'd also like to thank our amazing guest speaker, Una Burke, Nigel Cheney, Rachel Dickinson, Francis MacDonald and Paula McCoy for their work on the awards over the past number of years and this year again. And thank you to the RDS Craft Awards team. last but not least, thank you to the Future Maker Awards team and in our own team as well again, and the wider team of DCCI, many of whom are in attendance virtually as well today. So look, can I just close by saying amazing day, really uplifting, and on behalf of DCCI, just so proud to have worked with you all on it, and we wish you all the very best in the future, and please come back and join us as a member. Thank you. Back to you, Toby.
That's it. Go. This is one instruction which you must take very seriously. Get away from Zoom, walk in the park, contemplate the beautiful things you've seen, and allow that to inspire you and enrich you, because we have seen some awesome achievements. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye, Toby. Thank you.